Hey, how are you? I've never done this kind of review kind of thing before. Um, Sometimes I find reviews very, very interesting. There's some really good ones, and sometimes I find them rather infuriating. But the best ones are always the ones that are meant from a good place, and the worst ones are when people have, yeah, just vindictive for the sake of vindictiveness. Anyway, there's not going to be any vindictiveness or any nastiness or anything like that. Because today I just want to have a little quick first time review on an album, which on a track particularly from an album that I absolutely love, and I think it's quite appropriate to talk about it now. The track in question is a song called Horizon, which was written and performed by Jon and Vangelis in 1983 when I was 12. Um, it is an absolutely outstanding piece of music, and my first real introduction to the world of prog, as I kind of knew it, I suppose, then. Um, a little bit of a background. Up until that stage, I was into Vangelis. I think my mum and dad had got me Chariots of Fire LP because I loved that. And because I got that, one of mum's friends lent me, I think it's Heaven and Hell from Vangelis. And then my dad got Best of Vangelis tape cassette for the car, which had lots of stuff from his 70s. So I was well aware of Vangelis, and at that stage I was also into Jean-Michel Jarre and Tangerine Dream, and more into the synth side of things. My love of kind of Genesis and the rockier side of things was yet to follow from that point, but not far behind. Um, so with the Private Collection album is my favourite John Vangelis album, and particularly this track called Horizon. And I've been searching around YouTube for reviews of Horizon, and this is what prompted me to put a review on because I can't find any. I don't seem to see any review in prog articles anywhere on YouTube, and I'm sure someone will find something after I've said this, but I can't find anything. So I thought, right, stuff this. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a review. Um, so when I first heard the track Horizon was in 1983. It was played on BBC Radio 1 Friday Rock Show by Tommy Vance, God bless him. I found so many bands on listening to that show. Some of it was a bit too heavy rock for me, but just occasionally there'd be like an absolute gem, and I found bands like Rush and Genesis and Jon and Vangelis. And I remember the track coming on. There was no announcement for it. He just put it on, and within seconds you get that dunk, 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 and I put the tape record button on, had my cassette ready for anything that I liked. And I thought, yeah, that's Vangelis. It's got that trademark Chariots of Fire, dunk, 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 sort of thing. So I listened to that, and they played the first half of this 22-minute track, which lasts, I think, is about 10 minutes, something like that. And I was absolutely blown away. And what surprises me is that there are so many Yes fans out there that are, and I discovered from this track, obviously more Vangelis music, but I also then thought, who's this Jon Anderson geezer? He's pretty good. And checked into his stuff, and obviously Yes 90125 came out around that year, and I checked into Yes and fell in love with Yes and went through all their back catalogue, and yeah. So in a kind of bizarre way, Jon and Vangelis, or Vangelis, led me to Jon and Vangelis, and then I found Yes, which is kind of, I'm sure there's others on that journey, but it's kind of odd. Um, but this particular track, Horizon, is one of those pieces of music that inspired me so much that I thought I need to do this. I love this kind of music. I want to get a synthesizer. I want to get into. I could play piano. I was learning piano. I think started learning from about 1980. I was about 9. So I was very into classical music. That was my upbringing to a large extent at that point, singing in a choir and learning sort of classical music. But I heard this and I just thought this is amazing. So you start off with this great build up of Vangelis sweeping brassy stringy sounds and beautiful synthetic gongs and bells and beautiful choral works, and then of course you get this wonderful Jon Anderson vocal, which is produced in a very clever way. It sounds like there's many of him singing. It's like a sort of harmonic kind of sound to it. I don't know whether he's done it with multi layers and all the rest of it, but harmonizers perhaps at that stage, but it absolutely drew me in. On this piece of music, you're just drawn in. So you get the first section, which is like based around this, dun, 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 and it builds and builds and builds, and you've got these beautiful words. I mean, in this cacophony of life. I mean, who writes words like that? Cacophony. How do you get the word cacophony in a lyric and actually get away with it? Jon Anderson. That's how you do it. And boy, is he good at it. Um, Absolutely blown away. And then you go into this quiet bit, and at this point, then Radio One stopped playing it. So I, of course, then as soon as I heard it, I said, "Dad, Dad, Dad, I've got to get to a record shop." And I think he took me to John Lewis Heelis in Reading, and I bought the cassette private collection so I could have the second half of that track and all the other tracks on the other side. In fact, side one had all the short tracks really. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of music, and I would put it Horizon up there as certainly up there with Awaken as one of my favourite pieces of progressive rock music. And there will be some out there that will say, yeah, but it's all synthesized and drum machines. Well, to hell with you, because Jean-Michel Jarre, Tangerine Dream, as far as I'm concerned, very progressive, very creative, very beautifully constructed and experimental music. And this is what Jon Vangelis Horizon is. It is one of the best pieces of music that's ever been written. And having looked around YouTube, I can't find many people to say the same thing. So I thought I'd throw my voice up there and say thank you to Jon Anderson and Vangelis, rest in peace, for inspiring me to start the journey of music that I've carried on to do. I learned an awful lot listening to this music. Quick shout out for some of the other tracks on there. You've got Italian Song, which is beautiful. Deborah, which is about Jon's daughter Deborah, who's one of my Facebook friends actually. And yeah, Polonaise. He Is Sailing, I think that's my favourite track, which I think is the last track on side one. That's a beautiful song as well. It's absolutely beautiful music. And with the very sad demise, passing of Vangelis a couple of weeks ago, I dug it out and listened to it a lot. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a cover of this Horizon thing. It would be really good for me as a musician to go back and create this for myself, and using all the skills and all the things that I've ever learned ever since, to really make a really good crack at this. And I'm really pleased that I've actually got Robin Shell and Jeremy Kubert. Jeremy Kubert's an amazing pianist who's worked with Jon Anderson, and Robin Shell, who's got a voice like Jon Anderson, very like Jon Anderson actually. And I've done some ghosty backing vocals in the background there to try and create that harmonizing kind of vocal effect. And I think we're not far off finishing it. Hopefully I'll finish it in July this year. But it's just a way of saying thank you to those guys for writing and inspiring me so much with that just amazing piece of music. And I really would recommend all prog fans that haven't checked this particular track out, Horizon. It's on the Private Collection album by Jon Vangelis. Listen to it, put your headphones on and get lost in it, because it is just beautiful. The second half of it becomes more classical. It's more piano based, with synthetic orchestras and gongs and crashes and beautiful melodies, and it's almost like a hymn. And then you get this recurring theme of the first interlude that comes back towards the end in a little piano solo. Beautiful use of synth strings and synthesized oboes and beautiful reverbs. And it comes down to the end. It's a lovely big crescendo, and it tails off the end. Tempos all over the place. Just a wonderful piece of music. Certainly one of those pieces of music that inspired me very, very much, and I'm hugely grateful to Jon and Vangelis for making this music, because it really did inspire me. So there, I've got my little review of it. Go and listen to it if you've never listened to it before. Jon Vangelis, Private Collection, Side 2, Horizon. 22 minutes of absolute beautiful, beautiful prog, and just beautiful music. If you don't like the word prog, it's beautiful music. Please listen to it and enjoy it. And I hope that the cover version that we come up with soon, you'll enjoy that too, because we're going to make it as good as we can get it, out of respect for two of the best musicians out there. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Go and make some tea or something now. Bye.